Have you ever had an argument with someone and no matter how many facts they heard, they just wouldn't change their mind? Maybe it was about politics, religion, health, money. You showed them clear logic and yet they doubled down. You walked away thinking, why won't they see the truth? But what if I told you, you also do the exact same thing? And not because you're arrogant or blind or stubborn, but because you're human. And being human means living through invisible filters, distortions in your thinking that color how you see everything. These filters are called cognitive biases, and they are not rare flaws, they are universal blind spots. In fact, right now, this very moment, you are seeing the world not as it is, but as your biases allow you to. Let's start with the most common one, the confirmation bias. This is your mind's tendency to search for, interpret, and remember information that confirms what you already believe. You don't want truth, you want validation. So if you think someone is untrustworthy, you'll only notice the things they do wrong. If you believe a certain diet is the best, you will ignore studies that say otherwise. Social media makes this worse. The algorithm feeds you what you already agree with. And over time, your beliefs become an echo chamber, a mirror, not a window. Now imagine two people scrolling their feeds, living in the same world, but seeing two completely different realities. That is confirmation bias. And it's not just them, it's you, it's me, it's all of us. Second is negativity bias. Ever notice how one insult hurts more than 10 compliments feel good? That is negativity bias. Your brain is wired to detect threats. It evolved to survive, not to be happy. So you replay criticisms in your head. You focus on what went wrong in your day. You remember failures more than victories. Even in relationships, your partner could love you, support you, care for you daily. But one moment of coldness and suddenly they don't love me anymore. That's your brain lying to you. Not because it's broken, but because it's afraid. Afraid of loss, rejection, pain. But that fear, when left unchecked, becomes your prison. Third is the status quo bias. Have you ever stayed in a job that made you miserable just because it was familiar? Or struck with an old habit even though it no longer served you? That is status quo bias. Your mind resists change, not because the old way is better, but because the unknown feels dangerous. So you choose comfort over growth, familiar suffering over unfamiliar freedom. But growth doesn't live in comfort, it lives in disruption, in risking the unfamiliar, in saying, just because it's always been this way doesn't mean it should stay this way. Then is the authority bias. Now think how you behave when a doctor tells you something, or a celebrity, a politician, or a spiritual guru. Do you question it or do you just believe it? That is authority bias. When someone wears a costume of power, a uniform, a title, a following, your mind tends to surrender. You confuse authority with truth. But real wisdom doesn't always come from podium. Sometimes it comes from silence, from questioning, from stillness. Don't confuse someone's confidence for accuracy. Even the loudest voice can be wrong. Then is anchoring bias. Imagine this. You walk into a store, you see a jacket for rupees 20,000. Too expensive. Then you see another one marked down from rupees 20,000 to 8,000. You feel like you have won. But did you? That is anchoring bias. Your mind uses the first number it sees as a reference point, even if it is meaningless. This shows up in negotiations, shopping, and even self-worth. If the world tells you you're average, you will anchor your identity there, even if you are anything but average. You're not your price tag, not your resume, not the first impression others formed of you. You are something deeper, something no number can define. Then is the in-group, out-group bias. Why do we feel more compassion for people who like us, speak like us, believe like us? And why do we silently judge, distance, or ignore those who seem other? That is in-group bias. Your brain evolved in tribes where safety came from belonging. So it favors your group, your circle, your worldview. But we no longer live in tribes. We live in a world where the people we fear are often just people we don't know yet. The more we cling to us versus them, the more we divide instead of unite. It's not just a bias, it's a blindness, and the cost is compassion. Then is self-serving bias. You failed a test, the questions were unfamiliar. You got promoted because you worked hard. When things go wrong, it's the world's fault. When things go right, it's your genius. That is self-serving bias. It protects your ego, but it blocks your growth because you cannot grow from what you won't own. Real powers begins the day you say, maybe, just maybe, I was wrong. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I can learn. Humility is not weakness, it is a doorway to transformation. So, why does this all matter? Because your biases are not just academic ideas, they are shaping how you love, how you argue, how you vote, how you see the world and yourself. They create the story of your life and then hide the pen. But now, the pen is in your hand. You cannot erase your biases, but you can see them. You can pause before reacting. You can question before judging. You can wonder before assuming. That pause is powerful because in that pause, something awakens. The watcher, the witness, the one who is not the bias but is aware of it. And in that awareness, you're no longer a puppet of your mind, you become its master. You see, we don't suffer because we are bad or broken. We suffer because we are unaware. We react out of fear, ego, pain because we don't see the lens we are looking through. But the moment you become aware of the lens, you begin to see clearly. You stop saying this is how it is and start asking, what if I am wrong? And that question, that humble, quiet question can change your life. Because every time you catch a bias, you reclaim a piece of your freedom. Every time you challenge an old pattern, you loosen the grip of the illusion. And every time you choose awareness over automatic reaction, you come home, back to presence, back to clarity, back to truth. So ask yourself gently but honestly, what am I not seeing clearly? What belief am I protecting instead of questioning? Where is my mind editing reality to protect my identity? Because the more honest you become, the more awake you become. And the more awake you become, the more free you are. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I would like to acknowledge and thank Mr. Piyush Pandey, who suggested me this topic. Thank you.